when a narcissist's true colors show, signs of their decline as they age. Everyone, if you're constantly surrounded by those who attempt to control your every move, you know just how murky the boundaries can get. Lucky for you, I've got a little something to help with that. A free course I call Narcissism 101, Early Warning Signs, Escaping the Trap, and Rebuilding Your Life. Guess what? The link to it is right down there in the description box. But today, we're talking about something else. How can we detect if narcissists are crashing and burning as they age? But hold up, let's take a step back for a sec. Remember when we were young adults and freshmen in high school? Can you really claim that you were never in the wrong, that you were always super tuned in and properly behaved? That's doubtful. Our minds don't fully mature until we hit the ripe age of 25. That's why we don't label adolescents as narcissists, even if they display some traces of self-centeredness and domineering traits. They just haven't grown out of it yet. But as folks get older, we anticipate and hope that they'll exemplify optimistic qualities such as compassion, benevolence, self-respect, and integrity. Unfortunately, that's not the typical situation with a narcissist. It's not just that they don't mature. As they age, they'll double down on all the terrible traits that make narcissism so alarming. Things like acting controlling, prioritizing their own wants, thinking they're entitled to everything, being unsympathetic, getting defensive too easily, and even constructing a new reality where they are the sole good person. So let's go over the 7 warning signs that might indicate their narcissism is escalating. Number 1. Narcissists will abandon love to go after power. It's genuinely harrowing to see people with narcissistic tendencies begin a relationship by appearing to care for you, regardless of the nature of the relationship, be it a romantic or professional one. At first glance, it might seem like they genuinely want to create a loving bond with you, but as they grow older, something in them changes. Suddenly, they prioritize power over love, and their behavior becomes domineering, suffocating, and overbearing. It's like they feel as though they own the people around them, and their increasing sense of self-importance eats away at any real affection they may have felt earlier. They might believe they have the right to act in this manner, but the truth of the matter is this: it's not right, it's not beneficial, and it's not love anymore. We all merit something better than that. Number 2, narcissists never learn, even when they have no previous knowledge. Come on, don't you just want to pull your hair out when these people keep repeating the same mistakes in their relationships, and yet they cannot take the slightest bit of responsibility? They refuse to do some real self-reflection and ask themselves, how can I grow from this? What does this say about me? Instead, they play the victim, bending the narrative until it fits perfectly into their woe is me attitude. And wait, there's more. They're rigid in their thinking, classifying themselves as the peak of perfection while reducing others to simpletons who can do no right. How positively dull. They adamantly refuse to look introspectively or think critically. And that, my friends, is a massive red flag that they'll stop learning anything from past experiences. I mean, let's face it here, someone who never learns a single thing from the past, that's not someone you want to be trapped with as they age. It's like witnessing a train wreck in slow motion. Number 3, narcissists never own their dark side. We all have our demons, right? These are the parts of ourselves we're not exactly proud of, the mistakes, regrets, pain, and the constant struggles. But narcissists? Good luck trying to get them to come face to face with their own shortcomings, even if they have underlying issues that are making them into the bitter, erratic individuals we see. They refuse to acknowledge those inner ruminations. Frankly, it's tragic. They let those negative emotions simmer away in the shadows, like a bomb waiting to detonate. Instead of admitting to the pain and attempting to understand it, they bottle it all up and continue living their lives, causing troubles for themselves and anyone attached to them. Meanwhile, the rest of us are struggling and working to heal, grow, and become better versions of ourselves. It's like, come on. We all have to tackle our own crap stewing inside. Number 4, Narcissists refuse to display even the slightest bit of vulnerability, so they must be superior. Don't you loathe encountering those people who are excessively fixated on their public perception? They possess this self-serving idea of what they should be, and they'll go to great lengths to demonstrate just how impeccable and unparalleled they are. It's almost like they're incapable of acknowledging their humanness and how fallible they really are. As a result, they'll start to act like they're better than everyone else, like they're of a higher tier than the rest of us. And here's the kicker. They genuinely believe that they are superior. It's not merely an act. They are convinced that they are better than others. It's thoroughly pitiful. They're so immersed in this illusion that they've separated themselves from reality. Like, hello, we're all in this together. We all have our unique set of strengths and weaknesses. However, instead of admitting that fact, they continue elevating themselves at the cost of others. It's like they're so afraid to embrace their own humanness that they've ostracized themselves from it completely. Number 5. Narcissists are thrilled when a group of sycophants grovel at their feet. Do you ever stop and marvel at how some individuals inevitably need a gang of yes-men around them? They can't fathom anyone with their viewpoints, or perhaps challenging them. It's a surefire sign that they're a narcissist. They'll seek out those individuals whom they think they can dominate or manipulate into doing whatever they desire, and then they'll amass them like it's a new collection. Here's the thing, though. They're not looking for anyone who doesn't fit their exact mold. They don't want individuals who think differently or maybe offered innovative perspectives. No, they want obedient individuals who do as they're told and stroke their egos. It's almost as if they're allergic to diversity. They're so absorbed in trying to control everyone around them that they don't seem to recognize how narrow they've become. Like, don't they want to learn, stretch their minds, and enlarge their horizons? Evidently, that's not in their agenda. Instead, they're content to lord it over a bunch of servile people. Number 6. Narcissists cannot handle real relationships, so they just clobber you with excuses. Do you ever see those individuals who leave behind friendships or romantic partners like disposed tissues? They always seem to have some lousy excuse or some convoluted rationale for why their relationships never quite panned out. That's a dead giveaway that you're dealing with a narcissist. You see, the thing is, they can't take the idea that they may be the problem. So when a relationship ends, they'll bend over backward attempting to find a way to put the blame on the other person. They'll come up with lines like, "Oh, they just couldn't handle me," or "I don't have time for anyone who's that insecure." The most disheartening aspect is that they aren't truthful with themselves. They are well aware that they are the problem source. Yet, instead of facing that reality, they'll carry on misleading themselves and repelling others. The more they do it, the more convinced they become that they're always the victim in every scenario. Number 7. Narcissists are masters at putting others on the defensive to prop themselves up. Whatever you say, they'll always find a way to turn it around and paint you as the bad guy. It is a typical narcissistic action. They have learned that they will always win if they keep you on the defensive. They will accuse you, cast blame on you, and use deception to make you feel guilty and ashamed, leading you to believe that you are the one who is at fault. They don't even care that you are a human, mind you. As a result, you find yourself frantically trying to defend yourself and justify your behavior while they relax and bask in their alleged superiority. The worst part is that they are so skilled at this game that they start to believe their own falsehoods. They think they must be the right ones because they can make you defensive. Some people simply never seem to mature, developing a nearly caricatured version of themselves. They appear to be limited to seeing what is directly in front of them because they are so engrossed in their own small world. The most upsetting aspect is that as they mature, they become worse and worse, sort of increasing the characteristics that make them outrageously narcissistic. And to make matters worse, they consistently assign blame rather than accepting accountability for their actions. They almost seem to transform into an animated version of themselves, but rather than being funny, they are just stern. You will likely encounter more of these individuals as you age, particularly as you approach retirement. However, it is essential to recognize that you cannot save them. You cannot force someone to mature or recognize their errors. They must generate it internally. Obviously, you can discuss what you've observed and how it influences your relationship. However, do not fool yourself into thinking you have actual control over them. Let them not turn the situation around and say, "It's your fault if you don't like me." You are aware of the fact that true maturity results from accepting accountability for one's behavior and making internal changes. So put yourself first and let others fend for themselves. These people have created an illusion about themselves and can't seem to snap back to reality. It's quite unfortunate that regardless of how hard you try, they most likely won't be able to make a meaningful connection with you. That's why it's crucial to focus on your growth and development rather than attempting to alter someone who has no interest in change. Ultimately, no one else can determine your destiny. You have the power to decide whether you'll remain stuck in the past or move forward towards a brighter, more peaceful future. And if you ever feel like you require extra support or guidance, there is no shame in seeking therapy. It can be a fantastic method to address the challenges you're going through, acquire new tools and techniques for personal growth and development. While narcissists may not alter, you can develop and advance every day. So, let us make today the day we take one step closer to a calmer and more satisfying life. Until next time, let the healing process commence.